Right, so it's day 9, I think. Yeah, day 9 in the studio. And, ooh, dark, ooh. Yeah, day 9 in the studio. And I'm making coffee. Woo, again. How about that? No, okay, so, business. So, all of our stuff is still set up because we booked the studio for like 4 days in a row. And yesterday it took us like three and a half hours or something to set up drums, get them sounding good, all that jazz, before we actually started recording. So, to be honest, tracking yesterday was, we were ahead of schedule. We've so far tracked 1 song with drums. We have 5 more to do. And it's pretty tricky because George is still getting familiar with these songs, so he's hearing my drum track parts, and then he's also taken time to think about what he's going to add to them as well. Because it's like a combination of what I've written and then his performance and what he thinks will sound good on the track too, and we sort of try and meet in the middle. And it's weird, yesterday, and I didn't film this, but I was basically, for the first time, in a kind of a producer role, which was interesting. Oh my god, I didn't bring the fucking coffee. Fuck! The one thing I need, I didn't bring. Great, we'll go back upstairs and grab it now. Brilliant, I just realised. Yeah, what was I saying? I can't even remember now. Oh, that's really thrown me. Alright, I have to come back and get that. Yeah, he's still learning the songs and coming up with his interpretation, and then I'm directing him basically. And I felt weird directing him, but at the same time, it felt right because that's what you're supposed to do. You know, it's your record, so you produce it. You help produce it, and that's what I've been doing. And but it still felt weird asking someone to, like, oh, can you please do it this way? Please, it just feels petty. Like, you have to do it this way. Please, this way. So there it is. Oh, look at that on the back of my head. That's pretty cool. I'm gonna go get my coffee because I've clearly not woken up.
Christian's room.
Oh, you can. Sorry. Yeah.
So right now we're listening to the drum tracks that I put down as the demo. And George is kind of learning it, but also figuring out what he might lay down on this.
There's something catching me off. Like,
Yeah. You're doing like what are you doing? You play the beat real quick. What are you playing?
right, let's just go again. I'll play something different.
Yeah.
know the problem. He's not consistent with the kicks.
Yeah.
That kick drum. Can you hear me?
Yeah, go.
That kick drum just needs to be consistent because you're like at 1 minute you're going do 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 do, and at other times you're just not doing it at all. So it's either do it or don't do it, but not both, basically.
Yeah, I did notice on the first chorus sometimes you're kind of going do ka, and other times you're going do ka. Does that make sense?
I personally prefer the do ka go. If you can do that and you're happy to keep it going, great. If not, we'll do it the other way.
Yeah.
All right. She's a scruff. She's a scruff. What's a scruff, George?
A scruff. It's like I don't know how you describe it. Someone who's a bit happy. What?
Ouch.
Why? You a scruff like?
How dare you?
Well, I'm a scruff. I've been referred to as a scruff. Yeah, I don't know. You're scruffy, aren't you? Like, yeah.
From what I understand, up north, it's like really offensive.
From where I come from, it's like you come from poverty and you're.
I think that's probably why people take it. Yeah, because it's like.
You're a scruffy bastard.
Well, I mean, scruffy is like. Not. It doesn't sound quite
It's
as
like
brutal.
a dog's name, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a bit like, oh, you look a bit scruffy, like maybe you know your clothes are a bit messy or like your hair's a bit.
Scruffy's the adjective.
Yeah, scruffy doesn't sound quite as brutal, but scruff is like,
You fucking scruff.
oof.
I think it's the same thing, isn't it?
Like if someone called me a scruff, I'd be like, what did I do to hurt you? Whereas if you call me scruffy, I'm like, yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's that kind of thing.
I like to think of Scruffy as like a dog, like, come here, Scruffy. Little scruff, like that.
I'm gonna call my next dog Scruffy.
I just need to listen to how the drums actually come in on the intro again.
Alright, play that for me.
There's 2 bars, isn't it?
Yes.
Let's give it a go.
Ready?
Yeah.
Right, so it's day 10, I think. I figured out tomorrow it's going to be day 11, which is kind of crazy in retrospect because it will mean that by the next time we come in the studio, it's going to have been 2 weeks, which is pretty crazy to think about. Doesn't feel like that long has been spent on this album, but a lot of time has been spent on it. One thing that sort of came to mind when I was on the way here was the fact that when you're filming documentaries, obviously you have to be behind the camera, right? And you have to kind of be concentrating on moments that could be used as part of that documentary. And I've been trying to do 2 lately. I've been trying to do this one and also one for this film that I'm making, The Vanishing Cabinet. But because I'm a sort of a key player in both of those documentaries, so obviously here I'm the artist, and in that film I'm one of the lead characters, so it's like I can't obviously film myself. I could get other people to film me, but yeah, I don't know. I kind of want to focus more on just like filming from my perspective, almost like I guess my style is like a POV style, you know. And maybe it'll get better over time. I don't know. I'm still figuring this out. I guess I'm kind of in an experimental phase of content production at this point, because I've been posting a lot of YouTube videos, I've been trying a lot of different things, and this is one of them. So, you know, if it goes well, it goes well. I'm just sitting here thinking about like how much has to be edited, which is kind of crazy, because I've got like 10 days worth of material and it's all sitting in folders on my computer and I've not edited it, and I'm kind of scared at the prospect because I'll have to do that for 2 different films. But, you know, we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. One thing that was omitted from yesterday's studio session, like on video, which I was thinking about whether or not I would say anything about, and I figure, you know what, it's worth mentioning. So you will have seen earlier that I wrote drum parts, and I did actually perform a little bit. We tracked it, but then we've not used it. Yesterday I went into the studio and I tried to do drums for She's a Ghost. It just wasn't happening. And I was frustrated at myself, and you know, it was taking time. It wasn't taking too much. I think it was like 20 minutes, half an hour, but I just wasn't getting it. And I can play drums, but I'm not a practice drummer. You know, and you need to practice for something like this, especially on studio time. Like, I could go on stage and perform it now and I'll be all right, but it's kind of part of the red light syndrome, they call it, where as soon as that recording light goes on, you just start fucking up. I have it sometimes when I have the camera on. You know, I just can't focus properly, you make mistakes. It's a very common thing in music, but more so when you're in studio, because studio time is expensive. You know, studio time it really is the definition of that old saying, you know, time is money. It literally is that. So any time that's not spent getting stuff done is time wasted. And I knew that, and the guys knew that, and I think they were hesitant to say anything, but they were trying to say like, hey, maybe we should get George back in there. And I just didn't want to concede, because I really wanted just one song where it was all me, and maybe that will happen in the future. But in order for that to happen, I need to be fully practiced with drums and ready for it. And you know, I'm happy that I've done the bass and the guitar and the vocals on this record. And George is a really good drummer. It's nothing to do with him, like nothing against him or anything. It's just, I guess there was just a part of me that really wanted to just have one song where it was all me. But yeah, you know, it was fine. He hopped back in the seat, absolutely smashed it. And I'm really proud of him, actually. He's jumped on every single song with very little prep. And also, this is another thing as well that I haven't really spoken about. Because I want the drums a certain way, I've kind of been hopping into like a production role, excuse me, which is interesting. So And I've mentioned this a little bit yesterday, but I'm not actively sitting there at the desk communicating with him and telling him like, well, I'd like it a bit more this way, or I'd like you to play it this way, or perform it this way. And weirdly, it's been working, like the whole back and forth. And it's kind of made me think about this idea that, you know, there's something there. I'm able to guide people, direct people. And, you know, there's this thought in my mind about at some point in my career becoming a director, directing films and stuff. And I think that maybe I could do that, because I seem to have a good ability of managing people and doing it in like a respectful way, not in an annoying way or a, you know, bossy way or whatever. And I feel like I got the best performance out of him. You know, I felt like it was pushing him and we were getting exactly what we wanted. So, I don't know, I'm happy with that. Regarding today, George has to finish early, but to be honest, based on what we've got left, I don't anticipate it to be a problem. And if anything, if he leaves early, I can just do bass, can redo bass, get that done. And then it's ironically it's the same but different, yet tomorrow I'm the one leaving early. So but we're way ahead of schedule. We've already finished 4 songs. We've got 2 more to track on drums today, bit of bass, and then that's done. That's basically everything recorded. From that point onwards, it will be mixing and mastering, maybe writing some keys, like piano stuff for Out of Reach, because it's like a ballady song. But it'll be like a review thing where we'll look at each song and try to figure out what each song needs. I may or may not retract vocals on certain songs. I don't know. It's difficult because right now I'm like, drums. That's all I'm thinking about. Drums. And that's how you have to think about it, because the minute you start picking on something else, it's like you get stuck in that, and that takes away from the main thing that you're doing. So you got to stay focused on the task at hand and come back to that later on. So that's what I've been doing. That's what we've all been doing. So yeah, let's get in the studio. Why are we in the dark, Batman? This is how Jack begins his mornings in the studio. So, right now, Jack is setting everything up. Every time I watch him do this, it always kind of seems like it's a bit of a pain in the ass. Would I be right in that assumption?
It's not a pain in the ass, it's just like it's a lot of little things that need to be set up and fixed if they're not working, you know?
I get it. Do you kind of like love this aspect of it?
I don't mind it, to be honest.
Yeah.
Just like making sure everything, you know, works is somehow kind of satisfying.
I get the vibe that like you're very passionate about production.
Yeah, I enjoy the process.
Yeah, no, I can tell. It's good. Like I'm kind of the same with like certain parts of what I do. Like for instance, when I'm editing like let's say a podcast or a video or whatever, same thing.
Yeah.
I use a lot of these types of systems. And it's cool when you can do something like a little bit like creative with it as well.
Yeah.
So these are my demo drums on it at the moment. And right now we're just showing George what the track sounds like. So he has a good idea. And then afterwards we'll guide him and we'll try to do some takes.
Days pass by and I'm just repeating. I wonder sometimes if I still feel daily, but I'm just existing. You know the little matter. You give me hope without knowing. You don't even know I exist. And in my dreams I am holding you. And I am dreaming always. Dreaming of you. Dreaming of you.
I'd say so.
Yeah.
I think there's enough to work with, isn't there?
Yeah, that's kind of in my mind. It's like
Yeah.
as long as, you know, any small
That's
things
it.
can be cleaned up.
I'll never reach my
I'll get a bit done.
Cause these are the days I climb.
It's going in the good book.
I'm happy with that.
Yeah.
That's in the clouds.
I've
So
written that one down. What was on before we did that?
She's Ghost. She's Ghost is good.
Okay, we've got one more then.
Which is
got the idea of you.
That's it, yeah.
which we did.
Is that without EQ as well?
This is surreal.
Just playing in Jack's head over and over again. When he's sleeping.
Moments before. He's had enough. He's had enough.
Jackie.
Oh, Jackie boy.
The fight.
Oh, calling. That film, man. Oh, it's gorgeous.
Them toms sound like when you listen to them in there.
Sounds like
They
wank.
sound shite.
Yeah.
But they.
To be honest, EQ with Toms is such like a huge thing.
Yeah.
So much jump.
Have you just EQ'd it on the desk?
Yeah.
Going in?
Actually, there might be. No, it's on the desk.
Smashed it. Sounds so good.
There's so many tortured souls in this land. In love with the idea of you. I don't love you. Don't love what you do, no. I just fell in love. Fell in love with the idea of you.
Yeah.
You want to keep going?